if you missed it, this is a restart of our live because there was no sound on the first one. So we had to redo it. So we're starting again.
So welcome again from the Philippines, and we are excited to be with you after 3 months in Japan and almost a month now here in the Philippines.
Yes, we have been out and about in Asia, and the last time we did live, we were in Vietnam, and the time difference has kind of gotten in the way of being able to do the lives because that's probably one of the hardest things to contend with is the time difference when we're traveling, especially when we're on the other side of the world than all of our family members and friends and all that kind of stuff. So looks like, yes, you guys can hear us. Yay.
We fixed it.
Well, you know what happened? Here's what happened is I usually listen to a book and read a book at the same time. I listen to one on with Audible and I read one on my Kindle. And a little while ago, I was listening to my book and I had it paired with my earbuds. And for some reason, my phone continued to stay paired with them, even though I didn't have them in my ear. So that's what happened. I had to actually disconnect them. So I've been trying to stay caught up with our daughter, who is a voracious reader. Sometimes we read books together and discuss afterwards, kind of like our own private book club of sorts. And if you guys love reading, you guys should head over to her channel. We put a link for that down in the description. Her name is Alexa. And yes, we named her long before Amazon took hold of her name for other purposes. So anyways.
Yes, she has to go by a different name at people's houses that have an Amazon Alexa. So go on her channel and ask her all about how fun that is. It's great. So welcome everybody. See a lot of old timers on here like Yvette and Kevin, Robert. Great to have you all in here. Joe the computer guy, I see you from the comments. We should have asked you how to fix the sound on the computer.
That's right.
Had a computer guy right here. What were we doing? So yeah, glad to be back. Hi from Chicago,
Hey.
Michelle. Glad to have you in here. It is, we're here to talk because it's been 4 months since our last live. It's hard to believe, but we've been in Japan. And if you've ever been to Japan, we didn't even really have anywhere to sit in the hotels where we could even do a live. So we would have been like laying on the bed. So we decided to postpone the lives until we got to the Philippines. But we're happy to be here.
Yes, very happy to be back on live. We were just talking about it the other day. We were like, oh, we should do lives. It's been a little bit since we've done one. So yay, we're glad to be back and chatting live with you, asking your questions. We have been living in hotels for almost 6 months now. And the last time we were on a live with you guys, we were working on a couple of statuses with the hotels. So you want to update that?
Yeah, we were working on our IHG status. We were trying to get 40 nights so we could get club lounge access, which we did achieve in Vietnam. And it is really paying off now here because we do have, we still just have the platinum status, but when we checked in here to the Crown Plaza in Manila, we're staying for 16 nights. And because of the platinum status, they upgraded us to this massive suite. It's enormous. There's 2 bathrooms in our suite. There's a whole living area. There's like a hallway, and then there's a bedroom area. It's amazing. But, you know, they don't usually upgrade you if you are staying more than a couple nights, but we're staying 16 nights. They still upgraded us. They do have a club lounge, so they're feeding us breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we're only paying $50 a night. So that's just amazing.
You're not going to beat that.
No, which I do need to say, too, that what we've been waiting for is here. A lot of people are waiting for it, so we wanted to announce it. The IHG, that's Holiday Inn, points sale is live right now, 100% match. So if you want to buy points, this is the week to do it. I think it's till June 29th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy up to 250,000 points, and they will match them. They'll give you 250,000 points for free. So you can get a total of 500,000 points right now, and it's the best sale they do all year. They'll probably do it again in December, but we're gonna buy them now. So
That's right.
so
we're actually almost at our limit of how much they'll let us buy in a year.
yeah, 500 is the limit. So
so we're gonna grab a few more while we can.
yeah. So if you have questions about hotels or just, it's been a long time. So anything that's going on, leave those in the chat. We will update you about the hotel, but we can talk about anything else going on the channel. There's a lot of stuff going on the channel, so we can do any of that stuff. And I see some coming in here. Why don't you tell them how the hotel's been, and then I'll find some questions. Feed them to you.
So let's see. Well, it's interesting because we've had so many different types of rooms, and the suites are obviously probably the best because you have more space. So it's more like an apartment. We're so used to always being together anyways that it's not a huge deal for us, to be in a regular hotel room, especially like the Japan hotel rooms, which are considerably smaller than all the other hotel rooms. I think in the whole world, they probably have the smallest. If you've been there, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so we kind of had a couple of hacks there that we were using to try to get a little bit bigger rooms, which did work out for the most part. But probably, I know a lot of people have asked about like laundry and food and all those types of things. Laundry, most hotels, because of status, will allow us a certain amount of pieces to be washed, and most places, for free. And then most places where we are, we can usually find like a laundromat really close by, so that's been really nice too. So we can get through the laundry pretty easily for the most part. And as far as food, I know some people had some concerns about like if you have food allergies and those types of things. They do try to make some accommodations for you in the lounges. They can't always, depending on what your accommodations are, but I have even overheard other people who needed accommodations, like someone who needed vegetarian food for religious reasons, and that was provided for them. So I thought that was kind of cool that they did that in the lounge. So yeah, I think it's been pretty amazing. It's been really interesting and so different than everything we had done in the years before.
Yeah, so a couple questions are coming in about fastest way to get points and is the $50 a night because of the points? Yes and yes. The fastest way is to buy the points right on the IHG site. Right now, this is the week. You can get 500,000 points. It'll cost you $2,500 to get those. But if you apply for the IHG Premier card, you'll get a welcome offer on that. It's usually like 140,000 points. So right there with those two things, you could have 640,000 points. Now to give you an idea, like in Asia, in the US it's usually more, but in Asia, this hotel is costing us 10,000 points a night. So because we bought a lot of those points at half a cent per point, it works out to $50. And you don't pay taxes, you don't pay any extra fees. It's basically like getting it for half price. Now to get that good of a price, you do need to have the IHG Premier credit card, because with that, you get a fourth night free. Every 4 nights, 1 night is free. So that's why we're here 16 nights. We only had to use points on 12 nights, and 4 nights were free, if I did that math right. So
I think so.
so it's like an incredible, like, because the lounge has like free everything, like
drinks, well, you can get drinks throughout the day as well, not just during those meal times that they have. But you can go up there and say, I'd like to get a coffee or, fresh juice or whatever. And all of the hotels have provided unlimited water, like clean drinking water for us at all the places. So we don't have to buy it anywhere and lug it up here. They just bring it to us every day practically. So that's been really nice. And I'm not going to lie to you, having, I don't remember when the last time was we cleaned.
Mm-mm.
because it's been really nice having someone cleaning, doing our towels, and doing our sheets and everything every other day practically.
Yeah. A lot of questions. I'll just kind of answer them all at once on if this is sustainable, especially if you're not doing like having a channel like we're having. And I think it's pretty sustainable simply because you can buy the points. That's what makes it sustainable. So like if we wanted to, she could buy 500,000 points. I could buy 500,000 points, and we could both get the welcome offer. So that would be 1.3 million points. That's 130 nights right there. And that's just IHG. So when you throw in, and then the other thing is, you're not really going to live in a hotel 365 days a year, likely. Like we're going back to the States soon. We're going to be on cruise ships for about 30 days. We're going to be staying at our daughter's place. We got to visit our parents. So you're going to have several months where you're not in a
Yeah.
hotel. So I think it is sustainable. It is even more sustainable if you're doing it like we're doing it, but I think it is sustainable. Would you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would think so.
Let's see. When you're buying an international flight, I'm told you must have a return ticket. How do you get around this? We don't really get around it. You do have to have an onward ticket. It doesn't have to be back to the U.S. though, right?
It just has to be out of the country. Some places, actually, most of the places, you can't even check in for a flight. Like, say, when we came here, we came from, where did we come from? Taiwan? Yes,
Yeah.
we came from Taiwan. When we checked in the airport in Taiwan, in order to complete our check-in, we had to show her proof of our ticket out of Manila. So we showed her that, and then she completed our check-in process, gave us our stuff, and we were on our way. A lot of places say that it's required, but they don't actually check, but you don't know when they're not going to check. So we always just have one. There's a few different ways around that, but honestly, we just try to have an actual ticket and just a plan for getting out of that country and moving on to the next one.
Yeah. Let's see. I think it was Chrissy asking, gonna retire in 5 years. Does it make sense to get the credit cards now to rack up the points? And I think it does, especially the one I would look at that we talk about on here, if you're not leaving the U.S. soon, is the Amex Gold. We do have a link in that for that in the description, because with that one you're getting 4 times the points for grocery stores and restaurants, and you can rack up a lot of points. And Amex points are good for business class, which we just started flying, and you just put a couple videos up about that. It was pretty great.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to use that to buy those flights, because we're doing, some little bit shorter flights around Asia, and sometimes we use like the discount airlines like AirAsia or maybe like VietJet or something like that, but we wanted to do things a little bit more comfortably. We were like, you know what, let's treat ourselves, but let's not spend too much money doing that. Well, we ended up spending zero because we just used points. We got 4 different business class flights, and not just like regional business class flights, but like actually lay down. I'm actually planning on sleeping on the plane on the next flight that we're taking. We're going to Singapore from here, and it's a little bit longer than from Taiwan to Manila, so I am planning on laying my seat down and taking a little nap on the plane.
Yeah. There was a whole lot of questions in here, so let me try to catch up.
Okay. Oh, wow. There are a lot of questions.
Yeah. I'm not used to that. I got so far behind. Can you talk, Christy wants to know, can you talk about tipping needed and encouraged in the lounges in Asia?
Yes, we've done it in a couple of them. Only we have done it only in the ones where we were there for a really long time. Excuse me. One of them we stayed in for 40 days. So we kind of, and we're actually still friends with it was all ladies in the lounge there. We're still friends with all the girls from that lounge. They're so super sweet to us, and they really spoiled us rotten, and we just wanted to do something nice for them, and they were so sweet. So we did that, and then I think there was one other lounge we did that, and I can't remember where now. I'm drawing a blank, but we don't do it every time. It just depends on the culture, and especially like in Japan, you wouldn't ever tip in Japan, because it's not a part of the culture there. So it just really depends on where you are.
Let's see. Monica's asking, she never got her welcome offer from IHG. Does she have recourse? Yeah, I think if you call Chase, that's what I would call their customer service and tell them, and they should take care of it because they should be able to see that you've completed it and that you will get the points. So that's what I would do. Let's see. David. Hey, David. I think that's the same David that used to be on the chats back 4 months ago. So welcome. Profile pictures changed though, so I'm not
Maybe
exactly
it's a
sure.
different David.
Might be a different David Williams. But he's asking, how do you buy tech stuff? Can you get Amazon delivered to your place? We buy tech stuff in Japan and in Bangkok, and it is amazing because it's like 20% off. Right now, the yen is so far down. I bought actually this computer in Bangkok. That's the bot. It's still down. And in Thailand and Japan, we bought like a bunch of lenses, cameras. You got a lens. I got most of the lenses.
Rob got a very nice new camera that he has actually been wanting for a really long time, and this was the perfect time to get it. And he's pretty happy with that camera.
Yeah, it's
quite
really
nice.
It's really like 20-30% off of everything from US prices right now in Tokyo and in Bangkok. Bangkok not quite as much as Tokyo, but and then Malaysia, you can get really good computers in Malaysia too. That's really the only 3 places I would buy tech though. Do you have a home base when you return to the States?
We do not have a home base. We sold everything. We don't even have a storage unit. We sold every single last thing that we had. We had a storage unit when we first started, and then we were like, we never go to that storage unit, and we don't need anything in the storage unit. So we had a few things of our kids from when they were little and said, do you guys still want this stuff? They said yes. We shipped a box to each of them of the things that was in the unit, and then we sold the unit with everything in it and walked away.
Let's see. This is a good question from Mississippi Apple. It's like the bane of our existence. Where do you store your videos? The cloud or the laptop? Where do you store your videos, Allie?
That is such a challenging question. If we could have an ideal thing, but there's multiple places because we like to have a lot of backups. So we store it. We use GoPro a lot of times, so we have storage on GoPro, and then we also have the cloud, several clouds, and then we also have actual hard drives, which is the hardest part because for some reason those hard drives go bad so often. It's so frustrating. If you've ever worked with those before, it is so frustrating because they do go bad, and then you lose everything on them. So you always have to have one as like a backup with all the stuff in case one of them goes bad. So it's a struggle, but that's basically a lot of cloud stuff.
Yeah, GoPro you can get for like $50 if you use a GoPro, which we do use. For $50, you can back up unlimited videos to the cloud. Now, the problem is, we get in a hotel like this one, the Wi-Fi is not fast in this particular hotel. So, we're not uploading anything to the cloud because it's not going to work. So then when we get to Bangkok, we have to hope our Wi-Fi is better. It's really more of a Wi-Fi issue when you're in hotels. It's usually not great. So to upload, we're talking massive amounts of files. So,
massive.
Monica wants to know what camera style and body did you purchase? So maybe they're talking to me or you?
I know they're not talking to me.
I purchased a medium format camera, which is one that I've always wanted. Medium format digital camera. It is a Fuji GFX 100S, and it is my dream camera. I absolutely love it. So I've been wanting a camera like that for many, many years. If you don't know, that was my job for like 20 years of photography. So we did go all in on that.
But it is also his hobby.
It is
So,
also my hobby.
so and his professional photography is completely different than what he does for his hobby photography. So
Yeah.
so that's how it was easy to keep the two apart.
Let's see. So a couple questions here. To renew your passport, yeah, you do have to have an address to renew your passport, which everybody has. Is it difficult traveling through all these countries with a U.S. debit card or just a U.S. credit card? Are they usually accepted at a lot of places that you want to go and travel? Is asking Denise. So we don't use debit cards really at all, mostly just credit cards. And Visa, MasterCard, pretty much accepted everywhere. American Express, most places. We have found, though, that you want to have 4 or 5 different cards because, like, you might have 2 Visas that don't get accepted, and then the third one does. And there's, like, no rhyme or reason to it as far as, like, some really weird things is buying train tickets. We could absolutely not buy Disney tickets online in Japan. We tried 7 credit cards. It's the only thing we have not been able to purchase, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta have, like, you want to have all different brands because sometimes the Amex one will go through, sometimes the Visa will go through, sometimes we do actually have a debit card that we do use, and sometimes that goes through. It's not a bank one though; it's PayPal.
Yeah, that's the one actually we use to withdraw money. We try not to use our actual debit card ever, just, because it's attached to our actual bank account. So we just use the PayPal and we just keep a little bit of money in there. We just actually move money in there just to withdraw whenever we get to different countries.
Yeah. Shane is asking, are you looking into the new DTV Thailand visa? We are so interested in that, Shane.
We're waiting.
We're waiting. If you've heard anything, let us know.
Waiting on the official announcement in the Royal Gazette because it's not official until it's in there. We've been waiting for days. We were hoping that they would do something before we got there, but
we are, because we're going to Bangkok very soon, and they announced that they're going to move it from 30 days to 60 days, and we are staying 60 days already. We've already planned on being there 60 days. But you can renew your visa in country. Once you've been there 30, you go to the office, you get another 30, but it kind of takes up a whole day. So we were really hoping this new change would go in before we got there, so we would just get the 60. But I think we will qualify for that new visa, and I think it's either 5 or 10 years, and that would be just...
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would just be amazing.
It would make our life so much easier.
Yeah, Jacob's Points and Profit. He's exactly right. Our credit cards didn't work for Disneyland in Tokyo, so we had to buy the tickets and get your guide. That is what we did.
Yeah, we actually bought them on Klook, but
Klook.
Same thing, yes. We had the exact same problem. But thankfully that we could at least do it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Pam's asking, how do you get those verification codes? You got to get them on your phone.
Yeah, so we do still have our U.S. Numbers and our SIM cards, so we do get our verification codes through that. We just have to turn it on and basically, pay the fee. There's a lot of different ways that people do phones, but that's just what works for us.
Let's see. Jane is asking about the YouTube course. If you don't know what that is, we do have a YouTube course. The link should be in the description where we help you get up and running on YouTube. And she's asking if it would be helpful for somebody with a faceless channel. And it totally would, because whether you're on camera or not isn't really the big issue with YouTube not really doing well. It's whether you get set up in the right niche and whether you're doing the right things. And so that's what course is going to help you with, whether you're on camera or not. In fact, we were talking a few weeks ago in here about someone that was just doing hotel reviews and they weren't ever on camera and they do amazing, but you have to get your channel set up for success. It'll work whether you're on camera or not. And so Yeah, we actually took that advice and started doing our own hotel reviews, and it already started working. So that was pretty cool. Allie's been doing more hotel reviews. Thank you, Robert. Robert is a great commenter of the YouTube videos. I love your comments, Robert, and it's just wonderful. He's taken the YouTube course, found it very helpful.
Oh, that's good. Awesome.
So, hey, Kayla and Alex too. That's great.
Awesome.
Let's see. There was a question about, earlier that I saw that I don't know who asked it, but someone was asking, should the husband and wife get the same credit card, or should, like, I put her on my account and like get a second card? And the answer is that you should each get your own card, because like when we were in Vietnam, her IHG card got shut down because someone
It got hacked.
Someone
online.
used it, and so they sent a message over the phone, and they were like, we'll send you a new card. But my card was linked to hers, they would have shut both cards down and had to send us 2 new cards. But since my card was separate, I still got to use. We had an IHG card.
Yeah.
So,
Funny enough, the person who hacked that card was actually buying tours. And it took a couple of days to realize that neither of us was buying them. And then I call in to report. I was like, I didn't realize that it wasn't us doing this. They were like, oh, no problem. They were really great about it, though. They actually, this is while we were in Vietnam for the 40 days at the Crown Plaza there in Vinh Yên. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to have this card, and I'm going to be staying at a lot of IHGs. I wanted to use it to pay, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, no problem. We can send it to you wherever you are. Where are you? I was like, I'm not really in a major city, and I'm in Vietnam. She was like, okay, that's no problem. Just give me the name of the hotel. So I did. She looked it up. She put the address in. She says, okay, I'm going to ship you a card to your hotel. I was like, I don't know about this. So I alerted the people at the front desk. I said, might possibly be getting a package. Not really sure. Somebody hacked my card. They were like, oh, no problem. You could just keep putting stuff on your room like normal, blah, blah, blah. We'll take care of it when your card gets here. Well, sure enough, about 8 days later, they said, we have a package for you. They called me in the room and they said, we have a package for you. Came downstairs, and sure enough, IHG or Chase sent a new IHG card for me in Vietnam in the middle of nowhere. The package looked like it had been through some things, and I would love to know the story of how it got there.
It is rural Vietnam. Like it was more rural than we thought it was going to be, but it was amazing. So, can you recommend an IHG hotel in Kuala Lumpur? Yeah, they're really not that expensive there if you're using points. Get the card, do the fourth night free. The Intercontinental is amazing there because they have a club lounge too. If you have that. So that's one I would recommend. Hey, Foodies Vacation, thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Let's see your question. Hi guys, so glad to see y'all live again. Did you get to eat some Filipino food? How do you pronounce that one? Lumpia and adobo.
Oh, lumpia and adobo.
Are my fave.
Yes.
Have you done a video about visas? I've been going to Spain in April. So you talk about the Filipino food, I'll talk about the visa.
Filipino food, 2 thumbs up from me. And actually for me, my favorite, the one thing I wanted to try really badly was lechon, because we eat lechon. I grew up eating that on special occasions, like for Christmas and New Year's. If you don't know, my mom and dad were born in the Dominican Republic, and although I was born in the US, I still was raised like a Dominican. So I grew up eating lechon, and I knew they had that here, and I was like, oh, I want to try theirs and see what it's like. It was amazing. The food actually here has been incredible, and the people are so nice. It's been really cool.
So then about visas, I'm assuming, I think you're from the US if I remember correctly. If not, correct me. So you don't need a visa for Spain. You will get, when you go to Europe, that's in the Schengen zone is what it's called. So most of the European countries are in this zone called the Schengen zone. And when you go there as an American, you get 90 days out of 180 days. So it's a little confusing, but so out of 6 month period, you can only be there 90 days. So you could go 90 days straight, then you'd have to leave for 90 days. So you could go to Spain for 90 days without getting a visa, but then you'd have to leave. Now, if you want to go like long term to Spain, you would need to actually get a real visa. Not
Yeah, and those are actually harder to get in Schengen zone countries, so that can get really tricky. It's always, I feel like for Europe, Schengen countries, there's always the Schengen shuffle is what people are, the game that's always being played.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say, if you get a Schengen zone calculator, they have tons of different apps that you can download. Get one and make sure that you use that, because that will help you keep track of it, because the math starts to get a little bit crazy, especially if you're not going for the whole time in a row.
Yeah. Let's see. Monica's asking, how many nights will 500,000 points enable me to stay in Bangkok? So, it depends on the hotel, of course, but like at a high-end hotel, like the Intercontinental, that's usually 25 to 30,000 points a night. But more like, most of the hotels are more like, if you're in the Holiday Inn Express there, it could be like 8,000 points a night to 10,000 points. So you could stay 50 or 60 nights like that if you're in the Holiday Inn Express. So kind of depends on how high up you're going. David, I knew David. This is the real David Williams.
The real David Williams.
Wait, no, this is there's two David Williams in here now.
Oh my.
I think, because that's a different profile picture. But David, I knew he was going to talk about NVIDIA, so yes. So we are now moving on to the NVIDIA portion of the chat, which is a stock. NVDA is the ticker symbol. And yeah, it is it has doubled exactly since the last live. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy. Funny story is the CEO Jensen was in Taiwan when we were there, and we actually tried to book the hotel that he was staying at, but we didn't know he was staying there. We just kept saying, there's 2 nights where we can stay, but then there's 2 nights when there's no rooms, and we couldn't figure out why until we got there and found out that there was this huge tech conference going on, and he and all of the tech company CEOs were there, and they were taking up all the rooms for those 2 nights in the hotel. So that's funny.
Yeah, so looks like you're doing well, though, with what you've got there. Really, if you were investing at all in the last, 6 months, you've probably done pretty well. So that's awesome. Thank you, Pretty Bomb. Suitcases versus backpacks. What is your preference and why?
I prefer to have suitcases because I don't have to carry it. I'm not in a hurry anywhere. So I prefer a suitcase over a backpack. I think everyone has their personal preference. I always think it's funny because this is a big, thing of carry-on or check-in, contention in the travel world. And I'm just like, there's room for everybody. So whatever your personal preference is, everybody's needs are different. Some people don't, I prefer not to carry something. I don't even like to carry a purse. I try to just I try to make sure I have a bag that attaches to my rolling bag that I bring on the plane now, because I don't, if I don't have to, I won't, because I don't want to put my body through that. As much as we move around, especially in this last few months, I think that's my preference. I think it's yours too, right?
It is now. I prefer the suitcase because my backpack got super heavy. After we went to Tokyo, I bought all those lenses, and my backpack got really, really heavy. So now I have a roller suitcase. I have noticed though, when you check in for a flight, if you have a suitcase that rolls for your carry-on, they will weigh it a lot more often. If you have a backpack, they don't weigh it ever. I've never had my backpack weighed, but they weigh that roller bag. Now, we've been flying in business class, so it doesn't really matter because they almost always just say, we'll just
whatever,
forget about it. But if you're flying in coach with a roller bag, you may have to pay some overage fees because of that. So that's how it works. In Bangkok, are you switching from Airbnb to hotels? And what would you recommend? We are not. We are staying.
No, we have our place there, and we're actually looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. We don't normally go back to the same place, but this place, we just loved it so much. And I'm glad we actually got it because after we published that video, so many people booked it that we were unable to book it again after that for like the next time. So we're going to switch back.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple people asking about the newsletter. We do
Yeah.
have a newsletter, and the sign up is in the description. Now, there is a problem with it. And that is we can't send it yet because we have to wait. Apparently now there's a lot of things you got to jump through, hoops you got to jump through to be able to do this. And we want to keep it all on the up and up. It's not like 10 years ago where you could just put people's emails in and send them whatever you want. So we can't really do it until we get back to the States and take care of a few things, and then we'll be able to. So it's going to be about 2 months before we can send the very first newsletter out. So.
But if you sign up, make sure you do the double sign up. It'll send you a second email to click through. So just to make sure that you're signing up for the right thing.
Yes. So any particular places Wolfie Daddy's asking that are good for or bad for solo travelers?
We haven't been to any places that we think would be bad for solo travelers. I see so many. I do a lot of stuff often, like by myself, little side adventures on my own, which is why I started that YouTube channel, The Travel Asia with Allie, just because I do some side stuff on my own, and I meet a lot of solo travelers, especially women, on these little side adventures, and they're having the time of their lives in all these countries. I've not met one yet anywhere where they were like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, I feel so scared, so definitely, like, Southeast Asia has been amazing. There's been a ton of places in Europe where I've been on tours with ladies who have absolutely loved their adventure. In South America, Latin America. Like I said, we've been to over 60 countries, and I haven't run into anyone yet who has said, don't go to this place by yourself. So obviously, you're going to use your normal keep your wits about you type thing, and your normal safety procedures, but we haven't been anywhere yet that I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, that kind of answers Monica's question there. She says, as a 73-year-old solo traveler, will I feel safe in Southeast Asia? Without a doubt. If you feel safe anywhere in America, it feels safer.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about Southeast Asia, me personally, is that I can go out whenever, wherever, and I never have to worry about looking around or anything like that. Sometimes I'll take my computer and go edit in like a coffee shop or something, and you can set your stuff up and not have to worry about like, oh my gosh, someone might take my things. I've left my computer sitting at the table and gone to go get coffee or something or a refill and then come back to the table, no problem at all. So
where you'll feel really safe though is Japan. Japan is like wild. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, people will, in Japan, we went to a Shake Shack in Yokohama, Japan, and so we ordered, we got our food, and we sat down, or we're waiting for our food just to be called to go get our food, and two girls came in and sat at the table right next to us, and then they put their stuff down and they wanted to go use the bathroom. They left their phones, their wallets, and whatever else they had in their bags on top of a table in a fast food restaurant, and then went to the bathroom.
And the bathroom was not inside the restaurant. It was not in the Shake Shack because it was attached to a mall. So the bathroom was outside the restaurant. So they had to leave the entire establishment but they just left their stuff. And Rob and I were just like, we were looking at each other
mortified.
like, did they expect us to like watch it for them? No, they don't need us to watch it for them because no one's gonna take it. All the time I saw places where people just would set their phone down to save a spot, to save a table.
Yeah, it's the safety in Japan is like shocking. So we spent 3 months there, and then we're like, all right, we got to get back into. Can't just leave your credit card laying on the table. So anyway, let's see. Pretty Bomb's asking, why not just apply for a retirement visa in Thailand? We were going to, but we had to wait. We just turned over 50. That's why we haven't done it. And so now we're over 50. We could do it, but now there's talk of this new DTV visa, which we think we will likely qualify for. So we're waiting to see what happens with that. Because that could be super helpful. Let's see. RM, hey, that's my initials. Do you have a Patreon? Do you do a Patreon chat as well? We don't have one yet. We get asked that a lot though, so we're considering doing that at some point, but we don't yet. Excuse me. Script Monica, thank you. Appreciate this super chat. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, people leave their bikes unlocked. They're talking about here.
Oh my goodness, yes. It's so crazy to me. I just, not just that, but like they're like motorbikes, like everything is just out there. And just, I noticed a couple of times too, like random things just sitting on ledges or hanging off fences where someone either dropped, you know, a child dropped like a teddy bear or a cool toy. One time it was a pretty cool toy and someone just set it on the ledge near where the entrance to the building was for the person to return and pick it up if they remembered that they dropped it. Same thing with a jacket. I saw a jacket hanging on a fence once and I thought, why is a jacket hanging there? And I thought, I bet you somebody dropped it and somebody picked it up and hung it there for the person to return and pick it up if they remember where they dropped it. So it's really fascinating, the culture in Japan.
Jennifer was asking, saying thanks for getting me started on YouTube. I think she took the course. She's cranking away. Let us know in the comments somewhere what your channel name is, so we can go check it out. Yeah, love to see that.
Yes.
Let's see. Monica says she always travels with curiosity and wonder in my heart. Thank you. Thank you, Darden Edward. Appreciate that so much. That
thanks,
is awesome.
Guys. Awesome.
You guys really supporting us here. We appreciate that.
Wow.
Isaac says Tokyo was the safest I've ever felt in a big city. Nighttime walks. Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
We were out late a couple of nights taking pictures. And, you know, Rob's walking around with his new fancy camera and never once thought anything about it. And you just see, the funny part is to me, like I notice a lot of just women walking around by themselves. And the other funny part about it is that they're on their phone walking, not paying attention at all in the dark, in like a dark alley somewhere. And there's really no concern. It's really, really quite fascinating.
Yeah. As you can see, everybody seems to love Japan in the comments.
We know why. It's amazing.
Have you stayed in the IHG Bali Holiday Inn Nusa Dua?
No.
No.
We've actually looked at that one. Weren't we looking at that one last week? I think we were. We've looked at a couple different ones there and thought about maybe that one in Nusa Dua. It looks really nice though.
Yeah. Duke is asking, do you pick the Chase card because you bank with Chase? No, it's just the IHG card. It's because you get such incredible benefits with having the IHG card. And the Chase cards seem to have some amazing deals. Most of our cards are Chase and Amex because the points are the most valuable. And that's really what you're looking for. Thanks, Robert, for dropping your YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Let's see.
Also, I think somebody mentioned this lovely blue jacket.
Oh, yeah,
Can we take
it
a
is.
moment and talk about it? If you follow my Travel Asia with Allie channel, you know that I have a long life obsession with Miss Hello Kitty and friends. And actually, my favorite is Kuromi, which is this one here. But we went to the Sanrio amusement park essentially, and it was literally just. Let me just say, Rob is probably the best sport of any husband I've ever seen in my whole life. He went to the Sanrio amusement park with me, and I actually think he had a good time. If you saw my stories from when we were in Japan, he had a pretty big smile on his face.
Yeah.
It was a fun
That
little
was good.
park, and we got to take some pictures, and we had some good food there too, and we did a couple of rides. But it was basically us and like families and their small children. So
Yes.
you know, it was fun though.
Let's see. Scripty Monica says she forgot to ask her question.
Oh.
Here we go. When you're in Europe, do you use Airbnb or hotels since you're switching to hotels so much now? So it depends. It's per country. And I can break down a few of them for you right now. So like in Italy, we try to get a Airbnb for the month because a month in hotels in Italy is very pricey and the Airbnbs are very cheap. So like you can get an Airbnb if you're not in Rome for 1,000 or less pretty easily. In Rome, it's more like 15 to 1,800, but you really couldn't touch a nice hotel for that in Italy, even using the points, just because the U.S. hotels don't have a huge presence there, and the ones that are there are super expensive. So it just depends on the place, but for the most part, we're more using Airbnbs. But the one I would look at more in in Europe is Hyatt. They have some, look at the category 1 and category 2 hotels, and you will get some great redemptions in Europe. That's how we're going to do Europe is points for Hyatt and then some Airbnbs. Let's see. Pretty Bomb has the 250,000 points right now. Thank you. Oh, awesome. You just got them.
Oh.
Going to Southeast Asia in a few months. Going to start a channel. I like your idea about hotel reviews. Allie's jacket is fire.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I like to have some appreciation for this jacket.
It is a nice jacket. And did you mention how it's in
Yeah, look at
Japanese?
this. It's in Japanese. Sanrio Pudoland in Japanese. I
Yeah.
think that's fun.
It is good.
It makes for a nice, I mean, obviously I'm not going to wear this outside ever because it's 1,000 degrees, but I always get cold inside. So I have always worn a jacket indoors, like forever and always. My kids used to always make fun of me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, you're wearing a jacket. It's literally the summer." I'm like, "I'm inside and I'm cold." So this is my inside jacket.
Let's see. Monica's asking, how do I reconnect to the YouTube class? Yeah, so there's just a login page. If you go to that page, if you don't remember your password, you can do forgot password, and it will resend you all your login information right there. So there should be a link in the description to this video. Click that and then go to the page where it has you log in, and you can just request your password to be reset, and that should work. Let's see. We're gonna have to go back to, I think some people are putting their YouTube channels in here. So I can't see them all, but if you're putting it in here, I'm gonna go review this afterwards so we can check all of your stuff out.
Yeah, and anyone watching this afterwards, go check it out too.
Yeah, check out their channel. That's awesome. So I'm telling you, like you just started doing the hotel reviews. I think someone said they were gonna do some on here, and it just like really, you put this last hotel review up, and I was like, it went crazy.
Yeah, and I've got a little rating system for it and everything, which Rob made the graphic for me for anyone who's wondering. I do not make the graphics because I'm not inclined that way technically. Plus he's just really good at it because he has a really good eye for it. So I never design the graphics. Rob designs all the graphics that you see, pretty much he designs.
Let's see. Rick's asking about our biggest fears. They're moving to Thailand. Our biggest fear initially diving into this, there was probably a lot of them because there weren't a lot of people doing it. So
yeah, and so many people were, really poo-pooed the whole concept. They were like, "What do you mean? That sounds crazy. I remember when we were doing like the estate sale and people were walking through the house and just like buying stuff, and they would be like, "Oh, what do you know?" People want to make conversation, whatever. What are you gonna do? And so I told them, and so many people were like, "You crazy? That sounds crazy. You sound crazy. That's not a good idea. That doesn't sound safe." That's like, I mean, literally people thought we'd be back in a couple of months, out of money and in poor health.
Yeah. So Scripty Monica, oh, that's awesome. Third super chat. I've never actually seen this pop up before. Let's celebrate their third super chat on a live stream.
Oh,
wow.
Let's
That's
celebrate
awesome.
it.
Let's celebrate that. So that's awesome. Also, we are about to sell our house and downsize. So they're looking at investing in some dividend stocks. And what are some good ones to invest in other than realty income? There are a lot of them. I'll give you a couple. I actually have my stock thing pulled up here. So I will tell you.
I think he's always got that on
I
his
do have it
computer
pulled up. So if you want like just dividend, like ones that pay a pretty good dividend, this is an oil pipeline stock, ticker ENB. That is Enbridge. Now we do have to say, we're not financial planners. We're not stock advisors. We're not CPAs. We're just people who invest.
We're just people.
But if you're watching this and you have some good dividend stocks, throw them in the chat for them as well. Another one that's really good with dividends are utilities, and we've been investing in utilities a lot lately. Ticker symbol WEC, ticker symbol NEE, because utilities, what is basically happening is, if you've heard about NVIDIA and all these data centers to power the AI that's happening, power consumption in the US from Apple and Meta and all these companies, Google, is going to really pick up in the next couple of years. And so utilities are thought to be a pretty good investment right now. Other really kind of safer dividend stocks like Johnson and Johnson, J&J. We like Target, TGT. Yeah, those are some of the best ones on our list right now. Any kind of REITs are pretty good right now because they're kind of beaten down. So it is a good time to invest in utility stocks, but those are some that we've actually been buying. So I think, full disclosure, I think we've bought all of those. So, yeah, need to disclose that we have bought all of those. So we've been. I think it's a kind of a weird time to invest right now because the tech stocks have all gone up so high, but then like the other stocks like realty income and utilities, they really haven't. So, it's just usually the market all goes up at once, and it's not done that. So let's see. Pretty Bomba says, I couldn't agree more. I've been looking for Southeast Asia, specifically Thailand, for over 3 years now. Most won't understand or get it. Cost of living, day-to-day life. I'm careful with who I share.
Yeah, and that's the thing is some people, it's just not for them because it's, everyone is different and everyone has different needs and wants and things that they want to experience, and this really isn't for everybody, and we don't encourage everyone to do it. You do your research and do what fits best for you, and I think that's the important thing is that, do your research, do something that works for you and not feel, like you're pushing anything on anybody, really.
Yeah.
Just sharing what you're doing so that other people know about it, because so many people are like, I've never heard about this lifestyle that you're doing. That's wild. Tell me more, and that's really more the, like you said, you're careful who you share it with. You probably kind of feel the vibe from the person, like, oh, this person might be, open to it or interested in it. So you share it.
Exactly. Someone's asking if we've seen a good cruise deal lately. Cruises have gone up. Like it used to be. We're not in 2021 pricing anymore.
We are not.
So they're a little more, but you can still get them. And it's mostly the repositioning cruises that are looking pretty good. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We're looking to go like from the U.S. to Europe. Those are fairly cheap. Usually those are in April of every year. That's kind of what we're looking at. You have to really plan it out to time, like you'll be back in the States and then ready to leave in April, because that's when you can get
Yeah. Yeah, you do kind of have to time it because there are only certain times of the year going to either to Asia or to Europe.
Let's see. What's been your favorite cruise of this last year?
Oh, of last year, it was probably the Virgin cruise.
Yeah.
It was adults only. And, you know, obviously I have nothing against children, but I thought it was pretty nice. I think the interesting thing about that was that everybody seemed so happy on that cruise because no one was trying to wrestle with their children. I mean, you know, it can be hard to travel with children. Again, obviously, we get it. We'd taken many cruises with our children, and we're always super thankful for those, you know, kids clubs and stuff because our kids absolutely loved those. But you know, it was really nice because everyone was also super nice. Everyone seemed like they were in a really good mood and they were super duper nice. We enjoyed it. I think that was probably my favorite.
Panthers wants to know if we get tired of each other on the road. Do you get any alone time, and do you feel it's necessary? So maybe speak for us, but then speak for like other people that we know too.
Okay. Well, for us, we don't because we have actually spent almost our entire married life working together, as either as entrepreneurs or had jobs where we could work together. So we have already spent a lot of time working together. And then on top of that, we homeschooled our kids. So our kids were home with us too, to boot. And actually we would go on trips with Rob for work a lot too. So we did that as well, traveled overseas with the kids. So that's the background. So we were kind of used to that. One thing that is interesting for us is that I'm a morning person. So I get up early, I have my coffee, I go do my workout, I do my reading, all that kind of stuff. Rob is the night owl, so he's gonna be up super late. This is like his thriving time right now, whereas I would already be in bed. So that's kind of his alone time, and my alone time is kind of like in the morning. But then we also do things on our own. I do adventures off on my own, and every once in a while we'll do stuff like with our siblings, like when we're back in the US, I'll go do something with one of my sisters. He'll go do something with his brother. So we do have time when we're apart, but in all honesty, I think we just like being together. When we're not, last year I did 2 weeks of girls trips in Bali back to back. And that was, although the trips were really great, it was really hard. 2 whole weeks away from each other was a super long time for us.
Exactly. Right now, I'm watching the Olympic trials at night, so, because it's on at night, really late. So,
Excuse me.
Yes, pretty bomb. We don't have any problem. We haven't had any problem with that. So can't really say. But let's celebrate. That's a 5th super chat on this live. Wow, thank you. That is so awesome. No, we haven't had any problem with that. Let's see. Do you ever, Leatherneck is asking, do you ever fly your children to visit into whatever country you are living?
Yes. Mostly our son is not super fond of long haul flights, but our daughter is willing to go anywhere that we're willing to pay for. So she will get on a plane and she will fly anywhere. She's actually been to Bangkok twice to see us. She spent 2 weeks with us in Athens, Greece one summer. She came and stayed with us 2 weeks in Merida, Mexico one winter. When she was in college, she did that. And actually, just this last year in December, she came actually for our birthdays, which are in December, right before Christmas. She came to spend our birthdays and Christmas with us and then flew back home. Although she stayed a little bit shorter time this time because she's not in college anymore and she has a real job, besides the YouTube channel. So they do come and see us. And we do have trips also planned with our kids when we get back to the US. So that's gonna be really fun too.
Yeah, we're going on a cruise and a train. train trip. So people always ask if we ever take our kids on a train trip. We are when we get back.
That's right.
And we're taking the other one on a cruise. So their choice.
That's
cruise
right.
and train. Yeah. So if you didn't get in at the beginning, there is a link in the description. Our daughter, Alexa, she's been on the lives before because when she comes to visit us, she'll jump on. She'll probably be on a live in a couple of months because we'll be at her house. But she has a YouTube channel. It's about books and reading. So if you like to read, check out the link to her channel. She just started it this year. So she's like a lot of you people just starting it. Go check her channel out. Subscribe. I know she would love that. And check out everything. She's actually better at YouTube than we are, we think.
Yeah, well, her college degree is actually in digital media, so her editing skills are actually amazing. She's actually taught me several things, which is really cool, so that's really fun.
Yeah. Angela says she loves her channel and she's a subscriber.
Thanks, Angela.
We will tell
What
her.
are you reading right now, Angela?
She'll be happy to hear that.
I'm reading the new Riley Sager, Middle of the Night. I'm about 3/4 of the way into it, but I'm not going to make any comments about it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody if you're reading it.
I want to go in fresh. Thank you, Mrs. Teacher. Appreciate that so much. That is awesome. What's your delay timeline from recording to posting? I think that's a YouTube channel question.
Oh.
Let's see, from recording to posting, it depends. Because, it depends on where we are. Because some places we can't record. And so if we know we can't record, or, we're going to have bad internet, on a cruise, before we get on, a 2-week cruise, we have all the videos posted for the whole 2 weeks before we even get on the cruise. And they're just scheduled out because there's no way, can't count on internet to get them up there. Same with Japan. We knew the hotels were going to be so small that we would, wherever we could get a space to record,
we would.
We would.
And then save them up and edit as we go along, which is nice. I mean, that's kind of how you used to do with your pictures. You'd take pictures when you were doing your photography work, and then you'd edit them as we went along and did things.
Very rarely do we make a video the day of or the day before. It's usually, yeah. So people are asking what editing software you use. Several questions on that.
I use Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro. Adobe.
Yes. Adobe Premiere Pro. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It is not the easiest, but is probably the best.
Yeah, and I actually do an entire walkthrough how I edit my videos in the course, in the YouTube course.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I gotta say, okay, for the person who just said a gentleman in Moscow, yeah, is that what you're reading? Somebody? I want to read that book so bad. I keep seeing the ads. I keep getting fed the ads for the movie, but I really want to read the book. Have you seen the movie is my question, because I do want to read that book though. But I want to read it before I see the movie.
Pretty Bomb, thank you for the super chat. They're asking, most YouTubers I see try their hardest to build just one channel. You guys have multiple. Can you talk about your motivation to do that and the strategy behind it instead of just one big channel? Yeah, we actually have a lot of channels. And I think that the motivation, we go into this a lot in the course that we have, where we talk about why we do that. It's a really long answer, but part of it is that we like to be able to leave things on the table. Like we haven't uploaded a cruise video, and I think, well, we did one in the last 3 months. And Allie hasn't uploaded a Thailand video to the Thailand channel in probably 4 months. So while we have a lot of channels, we're not uploading on all of them at the same time necessarily. And it just kind of is so that we can, whatever we're doing, we have a place to put it, and that just makes more sense.
Yeah, and we actually here, we've not been doing a ton of videos because we've actually been working on a really big project that we're actually going to share with you next week. So in our live next week, which is actually going to be from Bangkok. You can join us in that one, and we'll share what we've been working on. But we've actually worked ahead so that we can work on this other project while we were here in Manila.
Yeah, we have been filming a lot here, and that's actually why we're here.
But not for YouTube.
Not for YouTube.
For a different project.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's something that we love doing, and you know, we started with another channel actually. Our very first channel was from the work that we used to do in Atlanta, which was a modeling channel. We used to have a modeling, like photography modeling type business, and we started that channel. It has like, I think 60,000 subscribers on it, which is kind of crazy. But we don't really upload to it anymore because we don't have access to make any content anymore. So unless we find some models roaming around the Philippines, which there probably are, but
I'm sure there are plenty.
we don't have that. So people are talking about this gentleman in Moscow. Is that like a...
Yes.
Yeah. I missed that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna read the book. I think I'm gonna. That's gonna be my top book, I think, for July.
Yeah.
Because I have Alexa and I set a goal at the beginning of each month. We kind of set a goal of like how many books we think we're gonna read, and so I'm close to finishing up mine for this month. I think I'm 2 away from finishing. So, although I would want to start it, but now you guys talking about A Gentleman in Moscow is making me want to read it again. So I'm going to put it at the top of my list for July.
Miss Teacher says, is it best to pay for IHG hotels in U.S. and use points in Asia? What is the best? It's actually best to use points anywhere you can. You're basically always going to pay lower with points if you're buying them during this particular sale. And if you have the IHG credit card, you're staying in groups of 4 nights, you're always going to pay less with points. So like we're going to Seattle later this year, we're going to use points because it's like $150 a night with points, 200 something with cash. And then you got to pay the taxes and fees too.
Right. And the fact that, you know, when you use points, you can also cancel or change, and there's no repercussions to that. Whereas if you make a reservation, sometimes they will charge you, or if you've already paid in advance, then you're out of luck.
Thank you, Jason. That is awesome. They're asking, with no home base, what do you do with your mail? That is a very...
That's a popular question, I think.
That is a popular question, yeah.
It's actually... you know, there's a couple different things you can do. You can have, you know, your mail forwarded to name somebody to be in charge of it. Ask a friend or a family member, hey, can I send my mail to you, and have that as an address? Or you can use, there are a multitude of mail services that you can use in the U.S. and that do give you a actual permanent address, and you can even do like a domicile and things like that. It just depends. We'll have actually a little bit more that we'll talk about at another time about that, but that's kind of that's basically the quick answer. Is there's actually tons of options, which is amazing.
Yeah, you do have to have an address. Everybody has an address. So,
yeah, and you do keep everybody asks about, you know, U.S. citizenship too. You do keep that because you still have your U.S. passport. That's what you're traveling on.
Nothing really changes. So that's good. Joe's asking, can IHG points be transferred? They're not good to transfer. You really don't want to transfer points from a hotel. You only want to transfer them with a hotel. Let's see. Did I miss a super chat here? Maybe I didn't. I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Do you use points for cruises? We never have, but you can sometimes use Virgin points.
The Virgin one.
That's
I've seen a lot of people do that one. Unfortunately, every time they do the sale, we're out of the country or away from any of their ports, so we haven't been able to use it.
Evelyn is asking, where do I sign up for the YouTube course? The link will be in the description of this video, or most all of the videos. And I know someone was asking, like, they can't find the link to the IHG sale. It is kind of hard to find. You have to click around, and we'll try to find a direct link, but for some reason they make it like very hard to find on their website. And it, like, sometimes it'll pop up under your offers, but sometimes you just can't find it. So keep looking. We'll try to put a link up somewhere.
Angela, let's see. Oh, what are you reading? Oh, James and I can't see.
Maisie Dobbs.
Maisie Dobbs.
And 58 books to read.
Listen, I have not counted how many books are on my TBR, and my problem is I watch Alexa's channel, and then she's like, "Ooh, this book is." She makes it sound so good, and I'm like, "Dang it, I'm gonna put that on my list too." I told her, "You need to stop recommending all these books to me because my TBR is getting so long." I probably have as many as that, maybe a little bit less, but yeah, it's easy to keep adding lists and books to the TBR list for sure. There's so many good ones out there.
Yeah, Kristen's asking, can you buy more than the 250K points, which is 500,000 points? You really can't. They're not going to probably raise that. So you could both end up with 500,000, but you can't. There are a couple of convoluted ways you could do it. But I think Shane's got a link to the IHG sale, so that's great. If you're looking for the IHG sale, I think Shane has you hooked up with a link there.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So that's awesome. Thank you, Shane. It's a very hard link to find.
Yep.
Yeah. Angela says Alexa has increased her to be read list. So that's good. Yeah. We bought actually points earlier in the year, 150,000, and then they matched that to 300,000. So we can only buy 100,000 right now on her account. We can still buy 500,000 on my account. So that's great. Let's see. We are running up on. It's 1:18 in the morning here.
Oh, okay.
So
I knew I was getting tired.
We are
It's catching up
probably
with
going
me.
to be going to bed soon. So we just wanted to say thank you for coming out. This was awesome to hang out with you guys again. And we're excited to do it again. So we'll be putting a new link up. Next time we will be in a different country.
That's right. We'll actually have been in 2 countries by the time we talk to you next Sunday, because we're going to be popping over to Singapore for a night before we head to Bangkok.
Yes. Darden, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Both from Puerto Rico.
Oh, saludos a Puerto Rico.
We were in Puerto Rico, was it last year?
Last year,
Yeah,
I think
we
twice.
loved it twice. Yeah, San Juan. We went on a cruise. That was awesome. So yeah, what was I saying? Well, next
week we'll be in a different place.
Yeah. Oh, but really special hotel in Singapore. So stay tuned for that. Chris, thank you so much. Just received 90,000 bonus points from Chase.
Nice.
Should I book travel with Chase for 5x bonus points or directly with IHG site for rooms? Okay, this one's real important. You shouldn't transfer your Chase points to IHG because IHG points are only worth about half a cent a piece. So your Chase points are more valuable than IHG points. So if you're going to transfer Chase points to a hotel, you always want to pick Hyatt because Hyatt points are worth the most. So you're going to get the most out of that. So the reason for that is you can get a nice Hyatt for 5,000 points, but a nice IHG is going to be a lot more. So don't transfer Chase to IHG. You want to transfer Chase to Hyatt or to an airline for a business class flight. Or you can use them right in the Chase travel portal. I think that's the other option that you mentioned there. So yeah, that's what you'd want to do. So yeah, we're gonna sign off for now. Thank you everybody though, and we will see you very, very soon
Yeah, we'll
again.
see you guys next week.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.